What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now, the Detroit Lions spent a very high first-round pick on a wide receiver in this past draft class, and although a lot of us knew he wasn't going to play early in the season, most of us expected to be contributing to the team at this point in the season with just 2 weeks remaining. And despite him being on the field for the past 3 to 4 games, Jameson Williams really hasn't been that impactful for the Detroit Lions as a football team and for the offense. As a player coming out of Alabama in the 2022 draft class, Jameson Williams was advertised as being the most explosive player in the class, somebody that could take the ball to the house on any given play, and somebody that needs the football in his hands. And despite that, and despite him being relatively healthy, despite him returning from his ACL injury over a month ago, the Lions have only targeted Jameson Williams 4 times in 3 games, with Jameson Williams receiving just 1 reception. Now, granted, that was a reception for 46 yards and a touchdown, as well as his second target, which would have been well over a 50-yard touchdown if Jared Goff could have just led him a little bit more versus New York. But despite the fact that Jameson Williams seems to be open and seems to be available for when targeted, Jameson Williams is not seeing very many targets. He saw just 1 versus Jacksonville, just 2 versus the Minnesota Vikings, and just 1 versus the New York Jets, and of course, again, 1 against the Carolina Panthers. He's averaging just about 1 target per game and has just 1 reception to his name through 5 games as an NFL wide receiver. And fans are not happy about it. Fans are upset. They are, talking about, why isn't Jameson Williams getting the ball? Why isn't he being involved in the offense? Why is this happening and that happening? And I think there is a good reason why Jameson Williams has not been involved. And I think it's a reason that not a lot of people consider when talking about adding a new weapon to the Detroit Lions offense, or any NFL offense for that matter. That being chemistry with the quarterback. Obviously, Jameson Williams is an extreme talent. We saw it at Ohio State. We saw it at Alabama. We know how talented Jameson Williams is. He's big, he's long, he's incredibly fast and incredibly explosive, but it's really hard to get the football in a guy's hands like that if the quarterback and the receiver do not have chemistry. And Jared Goff, more so than just about every other quarterback in the league, relies on that chemistry to get his playmakers the ball. And if he doesn't have experience throwing the football to a wide receiver, that connection is not going to be as sharp as you would maybe expect between an NFL athlete or NFL quarterback and an NFL wide receiver. Right? And this is not the first time. This is not an out of the blue thing. This has always been true about Jared Goff, especially about his time in Detroit. You go back to last year in training camp, Jared Goff spent an entire offseason throwing to Tyrell Williams at training camp, throwing to Quintez Cephus and Khalif Raymond. You know what happened? The first game, Tyrell Williams gets hurt, is knocked out for the season, and Jared Goff looks a little bit lost. He relies on Quintez Cephus and Khalif Raymond a lot. Then Quintez Cephus gets hurt, and the passing offense looks incredibly poor until Josh Reynolds comes into the building, and then the passing game picks back up because Jared Goff has chemistry with that guy. Right? Jared Goff spent 11 games working on his chemistry with Amon-Ra St. Brown and only really started finding that connection really late in the season. Same thing goes with DJ Chark, who spent all offseason working with Jared Goff, and it still took a number of weeks until week 3, really, until DJ Chark really started getting involved in the offense and being the wide receiver that a lot of us thought he was going to be, coming in as the number 1 X wide receiver. Right? Whether it's Tyrell Williams or Khalif Raymond or Quintez Cephus or Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Chark, Josh Reynolds, any wide receiver in this offense over the last 2 years only gets production after building that chemistry with Jared Goff, because Jared Goff is somebody that needs that chemistry to thrive. He can't just throw it to somebody he's never thrown to before. It needs time to mesh, and Jared Goff and Jameson Williams have only been on the field together for a month. That is significantly less time than it took Amon-Ra St. Brown, than it took DJ Chark, than it took Khalif Raymond and Quintez Cephus, and even TJ Hawkinson and Brock Wright to some extension. Right? The chemistry isn't there because the timing hasn't been there, and the time for them to build that connection just hasn't been there yet. It hasn't been long enough for that connection to truly be there for Jared Goff to know how Jameson Williams runs his route, to know where Jameson Williams is going to be. And yeah, a deep ball or a busted coverage is an easy one to connect on versus the Minnesota Vikings or even against the New York Jets. But working on the intermediate stuff, working on the timing routes, working on getting open in windows, and truly getting involved as a wide receiver other than anything other than a deep threat that sees 1 to 2 targets a game is going to take some time. Now, with that being said, I do think the Lions could handle Jameson Williams' usage a little bit better. I think that whether it be screen passes or end arounds or jet sweeps or anything like that, really close to the line of scrimmage that doesn't involve a lot of chemistry. It's, get the ball, throw it to a spot, get the ball, hand it to Jameson Williams directly. Right? Those are things that Jameson could get involved in, and those are things I think that we will see more in the future as they continue to grow and find a role for Jameson while that chemistry develops. But it's not really that outlandish to think that Jameson Williams hasn't been as productive as of late because he hasn't had time to build chemistry with Jared Goff, right? He is an explosive wide receiver. He's a deep threat. He can take the top off of an offense, and even as a wide receiver with just 1 career reception, he is being followed by a lot of really good corners, and he is drawing the attention of double teams and safeties because if Jameson Williams gets over the top, you are not going to catch him any time, any day. So with that being said, Jameson Williams' role has been incredibly small. Jameson Williams has not been super involved in the offense, at least not directly over the first couple of weeks of his NFL career, but that's going to come. All of that is going to come at some point. Jameson Williams will get on the same page with Jared Goff, if not by the end of this season, then likely by the beginning of next season. Fans just need to be patient in regards to the number 1 overall wide receiver, as Jameson Williams is a great talent. Jameson Williams is an explosive athlete. He's somebody that can take the ball to the house on any given play and should be more involved in the offense, even if it's not necessarily developing routes or getting deep down the field. However, patience is necessary. It was necessary with Khalif Raymond. It was necessary with Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Chark, and every other wide receiver to come through the building over the last 2 years. Jameson Williams is arguably the most talented wide receiver Jared Goff has ever thrown to. So once that chemistry is there, I have no doubt that the connection is going to be top level in the NFL. But with that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about this situation. Do you feel like Jameson's being underutilized? Do you kind of agree that maybe it's a connection issue, a chemistry issue, or is there something else underlying going on? I'm very curious what you guys think, but with all that being said, that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, and as always, go Lions.